We are alive with the man, the myth himself, Brian Carruthers. What's going on today, man?
I should probably do the Rudy. Folks. All right. Hey, how are you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing good. Guys, a lot of you were already subscribed to the channel when I had Brian on before. A lot of you were not. So, one thing we're going to do today, this is going to be obviously, we're going to talk Pokemon. We're going to talk the market. Brian's also involved in the sports card world, and he has been ever since like back in the 80s, 90s, stuff like that. He was actually a dealer. So we're going to talk that side of things. But we're also at the, kind of throughout, we're also going to talk about some other sides of things. Because if you guys don't know, I'm just going to go ahead and share it. He's made tens of millions of dollars in his life. Okay. For one, he's a best-selling author of 4 different books, all about wealth building, entrepreneurship, things like that. Okay. He's done speeches all over the world. I mean, you can see some pictures here of people you probably know. We got Grant Cardone, Tony Robbins, Richard Branson, Kevin Harrington from Shark Tank. So his resume goes on and on. And one of the reasons I love having Brian on, it gives us such a different perspective than we hear in the normal card world, Pokemon world, whatever, world you're in. And so we're going to talk a little about entrepreneur business stuff. And then the last thing is, this interview's been planned, by the way, for a while now, but because of the recent craziness with the lawsuits and rattle and all that stuff, we're also going to talk about a little bit about what Brian does and what I've started to do with him, just because, again, it wasn't planned, but because of all this, I asked him if we could just talk a little bit about it at the end for anyone who's interested in staying protected. So it's going to go off in a bunch of different ways, but I think there'll be a lot of value throughout for anyone who has any interest in any of those different areas. So, Brian, man, what's going on lately, man? What you been up to in the card world?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me on. I love your channel. Love watching everything you're sharing with everybody. Great value. And I will say I've got a hat on that's shading my face on purpose. And I don't have my professional lighting on because I put a chemotherapy cream all over my face last week to take care of some sun damage from, I grew up surfing every day, and my brother and I had contests to see who can rip the biggest sheet of skin off our face without it breaking, all the sunburn and the shedding and all that. So anyway, I'm paying the price now with different skin cancer type stuff. So it's all like inflamed and it's all starting to peel off now. And so it's nothing to be worried about, but that's why I look like a leper. And I want to explain that I don't have leprosy, but yeah, man, I just had this show up. It's amazing how Pokemon Center likes to send cases that you want that will be very valuable one day. They don't even double protect the boxes. I hate that. But anyway, that's a Brilliant Stars. I'm like, Brilliant Stars at 143 6 months ago was a little high. Well, actually, 8 months ago, it was actually low, and then it became high because of the reprint. Now to me, it's like, I've been looking for ways to really level up my inventory on the Sword and Shield block. I think it's just a huge investment opportunity. So I'm scouring the internet, always looking for deal. I mean, I don't know if anybody, comes to you and says, hey, I got cases of this, cases of that. If you ever get deals coming your way and you don't want them, Alex, hit me up. I'm a buyer, big time buyer right now.
Gotcha. So you're still full bore ahead. You're continuing to add your inventories. You're not slowing down at all with any of the things happening, economy, market. That none of that affects you. You're still 100% active in the
I'm ramping up. I'm looking to build a whole other wall of sealed boxes, and I got 2 walls. I got a garage wall. I've got a downstairs in my gym in my basement. One whole wall is Pokemon sealed stuff all the way up to the ceiling. So
I love it. Now, how much? So if anyone doesn't know, you can talk a little about that. So your history of sports cards, right? Where does that lead back to? All the way, what, in the 80s, 90s?
Yeah, I was the youngest, probably the youngest. I had no way to verify it, but I was 15 years old in 1985, probably before you were born or close to it. But anyway, I was 15 and I was setting up at card shows. And by the time I was 17, I had direct distributorships with Topps, Fleer, Score, Donruss, Upper Deck, and 88 and 89 Score and Upper Deck. So I was buying stuff at wholesale and selling it at the shows. All the dealers thought I was cute, but they didn't like me so much because I didn't really know any better. So I was buying boxes at wholesale for like $14 and selling them for like $17. And they were, so that I had no margin and I was just flipping money. And I thought I was like making money, which I didn't really understand at the time. And they were like, I was killing them because they had markups that they weren't getting because everybody was buying them from my tables. So, but anyway, I loved the speculation side of it as well, not just buying stuff and selling the new boxes, but like one of the ones I've told people about forever now, whenever I talk to people about cards, like I would speculate on rookies, like Mark McGwire, 1985 Topps rookie card. You know, an Olympic card that I was buying for 22 cents a piece for that card. I bought 100 of them for 22 cents. I sold most of them when they went to $10. And now a PSA 10 sells for over 2,000. So, and I didn't save many of them. I sold them along the way. But, you know, going from 22 cents to even just the $10 mark or the $20 mark when I sold a bulk of those, I applied what I learned in speculating in collectibles when I got out of college and went into real estate as a real estate agent and started making some money and started investing in stocks. I did the same thing. I went all in heavy on different stocks. Like right now, I've got 60,000 shares of Apple.
What's that?
I've got 8 figures in Apple stock, you know, and I go and so here's the thing, you know, you got to stick to your guns. And I think that crosses back over again into the collectible space. Like when you believe in your bones about something, just don't listen to all the other people's opinions, because you got to take my mom always said, consider the source. When kids made fun of me or I got picked on, she said, consider the source, Brian. Why do you care what they think? Do they really matter to you that much? And so when people were telling me, oh, you shouldn't put so much in Apple, well, those same people, they don't have 8 figures of a stock right now. Like my family is set for many lifetimes just from that one purchase that I didn't let anybody talk me out of. And then full circle, last year, Men's Journal did a story about me and about my son, because I got into cards, learned about investing and speculating and profiting that way. And then I started doing it in the stock market and so forth later on in life. And then my son during COVID turned 13. He started getting into collectibles with me. He already liked Pokemon, but I always made fun of that. I started getting him into sports cards, and then Pokemon popped off and he's like, I told you, Dad. So I started getting into Pokemon. And so kind of the Men's Journal article was about how I learned about wealth building through a hobby of collectibles. I applied it throughout my life and became pretty wealthy. And now I'm teaching it to my son. And we've got something that we're bonding over. It's just really amazing. If there's any dads that are watching this right now, man, the bonding with your kids, you know, like my 5 and 6 year olds, Aiden and Colton. I mean, they don't do sports cards because they don't watch sports yet because they're too young. But the Pokemon, I mean, everything that they want, or everything I want them to do, they bribe me. Finish your dinner. Can I get a pack? You know, brush your teeth. Can I get a pack? You know, it's like pretty soon I wipe my own ass. Can I get a pack? I mean, it's like it's so funny how like they're just so into Pokemon.
Yeah, it is strange. Like, you know, you just talk about that article and, you know, for some reason, investing in any type of alternative asset like collectibles, it always kind of gets demonized as like, you know, stupid, or, you know, you're not sophisticated or whatever. Real money's elsewhere. And it's like, yeah, I mean, being diversified is great. You know, obviously, you know, when you're betting on a stock, you're betting on, you know, a company that services, you know, hundreds of millions of products all across the world, like Apple. But it's like, you know, Pokemon's the same exact way of looking at, you know, other assets. Is you're looking at, you know, past history. You're looking at, you know, where the demand and supply. You're looking at, you know, the growth of the IP, the growth of the card game. You're looking at the sell-through rates. I mean, it does mimic a lot of other markets, and, you know, it's really just up to people's opinion if it's quote unquote investable. I mean, I think any asset that moves up in value over time, I mean, you can invest in, but that's an amazing story to hear that, you know, even Men's Journal's doing articles on how people can learn about financial investing through collectibles.
Yeah. Look, and here's the thing. I should go back. I should have pre-framed what I was saying. It's obnoxious to even talk about like a position I have in a stock. And I don't want anybody to feel any sort of way like, you know, first of all, I don't want it to be braggadocious at all. That's not who I am. I want it to be aspirational. I want everybody that might be starting at the beginning like I started. Like when I was younger, I had to go cut lawns, rake leaves, shovel driveways in the wintertime. I mean, I found wash cars in the neighborhood to make money to go buy cards. We all start small. Like no collector suddenly own some $10,000 PSA 10 Grail card. They start off with $5 cards, $10 cards, or trading up and selling out and flipping back in at a $50 card. And you just kind of grow your collection that way. And so that's where it begins with cards. And that's where it begins with, I teach wealth building. I teach people how to go out and open up a separate bank account, pay themselves 10% first of every dollar they make, and start putting that money away. And then when they got some money, they can start putting it into investments. I teach people how to inch their way into the investment scene. Don't go, hog wild with some kind of crazy, very risky deal, buying some crypto coin that you think is going to be the next, through the moon thing. It's, go get into an S&P index fund and just get 10% compounded a year. I've got in one of my books, this one here, Money Mindset, on page 44. I quote out of this all the time. And again, I want you guys that are watching Alex, he teaches you so much great stuff. I follow him all the time. I'm not an expert on Pokemon. I'm an expert on the businesses that I build, but I watch experts like Alex about investing in Pokemon, and he's got great insights. And I use that insight to go out there and figure out what I want to put my money into, like this Brilliant Stars booster box case, for example, that just came today. But I've got a chart in here, and look, here's the thing. Most of you probably are not Pokemon investor dealers full-time. Like for probably 99% of you all, you're not making a full-time living off of Pokemon cards. Most people are doing any kind of cards, sports cards, Pokemon, collectibles. It's a hobby or it becomes an investment, but it's a side thing. So I'm a big believer, and that's where I speak on all these different stages about helping people to know why they need to create another source of income where it's not just more money to blow, because most people have they live a life of servicing debt. Like if you're making $6,000 a month and your bills are $5,000 a month, you make the 6, you pay the 5, and you blow the extra 1,000. Why? Because it was extra.
Yeah.
You're only making the money so you can actually pay the bills that you have. But if you have a wealth building mindset, which is why I wrote this book, it should have been called, wealth mindset, but it's money mindset. If you have a money mindset of building wealth, then you make the 6, you pay the 5, but the $1,000 that's left, that's the only 1,000 that you cared about and that you're working for all month long. And that $1,000, what will you do with it? You invest it. And so check this out, Alex. If you just had an extra $600 a month that you can find some way to make, and you can, the quickest way you lose weight is what? How do you lose weight? You either eat less or work out more.
Or both.
You want to do it faster, eat less and work out more. If you want to build wealth, either spend less or earn more. What if you actually spent less and earn more? So sometimes there's a latte factor where you don't go spend $6 on a pink drink at Starbucks like I'm spending now. Why? Because I've got the money, right? But if you want to invest that money instead and then find a way to make some extra cash, whether it's flipping Pokemon or doing something else, but check this out, $600 extra a month in 10 years at a 10% return, just 10%. And with sealed product in Pokemon, I've watched your stuff. I've watched a bunch of people. I don't know any booster box that has not gone up 10% a year over time. I mean, I don't know, not a single one, not even the worst set that was ever printed in the history of Pokemon. So anyway, but 10%, like you can do in an S&P stock index, in 10 years, it's 123,000, 20 years, it's 460,000, 30 years, 1.36 million, and in 40 years, $3.8 million.
Yeah.
People say, I don't know how I'll ever become a millionaire. Well, it depends on what age you're at right now. If you're 30 years old right now, at the age of 60, if you put $600 away each month, you got $1.3 million. So you can actually be on your way to retirement. And you can speed up the process by, if you did $1,500 a month in 10 years, 309,000, 20 years, 1.1 million, 30 years, 3.4 million, 40 years, $9.5 million. I've helped a lot of people to build their wealth, or at least get on, or get on a path towards doing it. And it's happening day by day because they have the right mindset.
You gave my buddy James some PTSD. Funny story, when he moved away since then, but I grew up with him, and I hired him and another buddy to shovel driveways with me one winter for I had my lawn care company. And at the beginning of the night, there was all giggles and everyone was having a good time. And, we were all, and I told him, I said, hey, we need to get going because when we're out here at 3 a.m. and it's negative, 10 degrees, you're not going to be laughing anymore. And I kid you not, we were probably 10, 15, 20 driveways in, and everyone was dead silent and just moving slow. And I said, hey, You guys aren't laughing now, are you? Man, then about that time, I think James like threw up on the side. It was a mess of a night, but he always reminds me about that night. So what about right now though? I know last time I talked to you, we had a Zoom call together. You showed me stacks of PSA or cards ready to go to PSA. Is grading become a huge part of things you're doing now too?
Yeah, I've been grading for the last couple of years. Obviously, it's great that there's a turnaround time is less than 90 days now. It sucked when it was a year, but I just sent off a submission for 413 cards. Just got there yesterday. So half of that was Pokemon, half of that was sports cards.
And now, is this like for flips? Or do you hold on to most of it? What do you do with it? I'm
a hoarder. I mean, I have a hard time letting go of stuff. I think because I'm such a collector at heart, and because I don't need the money, because I've got residual cash flow that comes in every single day, whether I do anything or not. So because I don't need the money, I tend not to sell. And that's good and bad, by the way. Sometimes it's great because I held it and it goes up in value. In the sports card arena, sometimes it's bad I didn't sell it because when Joe Burrow got hurt or when Ja Morant started waving a gun around on Instagram, the cards that I had money in, if I sold them at a better timing, then I would have done a lot better. So I say all that to say, I sell a little bit. My son and I are going to a card show this coming Saturday. We'll mostly be selling sports cards at that one. I have not sold squat for Pokemon. I'm a big believer that Pokemon is going to continue to get bigger. And I don't want to have regrets 5, 10, 20 years down the road from now when I just feel like everything to me, and I could be wrong. I'm not always right. I feel like I kick myself if I sold anything anytime soon.
Yeah. No, I feel the same way. It just seems like, it's in your position, it's a little easier, but for, other people, when you see those gains start to rack up and you see it double or even triple in price, it is harder. It gets a lot harder to hold on to it. Even if you still see the future, it's just, it's hard enough to take those gains. So
yeah, let me give you an example. So I had a company called Real, REAL. It's a real estate company stock. Okay. And I bought it at $1.15 a share. I think I had like 88,000 shares. I was, and by the way, I don't want to sound obnoxious, but that's not like a big position for me, but it was meaningful. And when it went up to $2.65 last month, I sold it. Today it's at $3.10, and the upward trajectory still looks pretty strong. So what I was trying to do, which a lot of times backfires, is I was going to sell it when I thought it was kind of peaking at 265. I was thinking that it was going to come back down under 2 and buy back in again. But now it's running away from me. So sometimes when things are going up, you think, oh, well, a reprint will come, or, hey, the market will cool down. I'll get another re-entry point later at a lower level and buy back in. Well,
Evolving Skies, perfect example. Me and you have both continued to buy into Evolving Skies in the past year.
Well, I never bought any until I just told you a few months ago. I bought it at $3.85 a box, and I only got 9 boxes that the guy had. I would have bought it all that he had if he had more, but I didn't buy it in the 1s or the 2s. So and now it's around 5, and I think Evolving Skies. Again, this is just my thoughts. I think Evolving Skies in the next 3 years goes to $1,000 a box. Now, if I'm saying that, I should be putting my money. Why? Here's what's funny. If I believe that, which I do believe it, why am I not buying them like crazy at 500 and scouring everywhere I can looking to find them around 4, trying to save those few bucks, trying to save those points? Well, that's what I do. I'm a frugal guy. I always look for good opportunities. But guess what? 3 years from now, the $500 is going to look like a good opportunity, in my opinion.
Yeah, I called it early last year. I thought it was going to be a $500 box by the end of the year. I missed it by about a month. I was pretty close, but no, I think you're pretty spot on there too. I could see it getting there too. I mean, we've seen it with X, Y, and Sun and Moon boxes. The top ones in the sets make it to that 1,000 mark pretty easily. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think that's the biggest hurdle a lot of us get over is, it's easy to talk about why things are a buy when they're cheap, when they're $80, $85 a box, right? Because the entry point's so low, the risk is so easy. But buying on the way up is one of those things that no one likes to do. No one likes to pay more than someone else just paid. And a lot of times it's still the right move. Like we talk about Sword and Shield. I mean, I've been making videos about it all the way up. I mean, when a lot of these boxes that we see now that are in the 160s, 170s, in the 120s, 130s, I was saying I think it's still a good deal. I'm still buying. And a lot of people say, nah, that's it's over. It's over 100, over 90. It's too much. I'm gonna buy the new sets instead. And it's like, well, buying the new sets right now, it's gonna be a longer wait. A lot of these are right in their prime time moving days. I mean, so it is hard to know, trying to time the market as opposed to just, like you said, just kind of hoarding, letting time do its thing. Is over time, the percentage gains are usually always there.
So yeah, well, look, I was on the golf course. I had just bought 1,000 shares of Chipotle a few years ago. For $285 a share. While I was on the third tee box, I looked down while I was waiting for the guy to hit his ball. I looked down to the stock market, and it had dropped down from 285. Just a few hours later, a rat fell out of the ceiling at a Texas restaurant and hit the news. It was right after some people got sick at a couple of Chipotles. So people were already really kind of really finicky about the stock. And it dropped like $30. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. So I just whatever. Weeks later, it recovered. It went to 310. I'm sorry, 328, and I sold. So I went from 285 to 328. I had 1,000 shares. So what did I just make? I just made like roughly $40,000. Cool, yeah. Right? Well, right now it's at $2,628 a share. So, you know what, the people say, buy low, sell high. How do you know when you're buying low? You can't know that you're buying it low. Sometimes it's smart to buy high and sell higher. Like if it's going up for a reason. And if it's got an upward trajectory, things will continue to move until acted by an opposing force. That's just one of the laws of nature, right? So anyway.
Yeah. And then so I do want to segue into our other form of conversation, but a form of segueing into it is the whole kind of investing over working, right? Is, I know a lot of the times in this space in general, it's really weird. Pokemon's a really weird space, but whenever I talk about investing, whenever anyone talks about investing, there's always the people that like to scream about their flips and their businesses and saying, well, I made X, Y, and Z flip and this and that, and I made way more than you did investing. And I try to explain to people, guys, investing is passive. You're letting your money work for you while you go to work. If you're constantly flipping in and out and running a business, you're working for that money. And so, of course, your most powerful wealth building tool is going to be you actually actively putting forth effort and working. But, it's a different form of investing. So, I mean, I think that's kind of what you're doing is you're when you're trading stocks, you're kind of doing both, or, you have your business, you teach wealth building, you're working for it, but everything else, it's passive. Right. It's making money while you're not doing anything.
So let me give some advice for anybody who is interested in it. Okay. I wrote this book, Untrapped: Freedom Manifesto. Become an entrepreneur to escape the grind and find freedom and happiness. Now you can go buy it on Amazon or untrappedbook.com, wherever you want to get it. But I wrote that book just before COVID hit. So that's pretty recent. But many years ago, I read two books that are massively life-changing. And you probably saw a picture right before you stopped the screen share where I was standing with Robert and Kim Kiyosaki. Robert Kiyosaki is the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Sold over 30 million, right there in the middle. 30 million copies of his books have been sold. And so Rich Dad, Poor Dad will help everybody to get off of the employee treadmill. But then he wrote his follow-up book called Cash Flow Quadrant. And in that book, he teaches you there's 4 different quadrants that you can live in: the E, the S, the B, or the I. The E, you're an employee, trading your time for money, working for somebody else. The S, you're self-employed, still trading your time for money.
That's important. Right? That's important.
Still trading your time for money as a self-employed person, like a flipper of cards, you're still self-employed. Then a B quadrant business, you got a bunch of people working for you and a system that's generating money for you. And then the I, the investor quadrant, where your money's making you money.
Yep.
So, there's a lot of people that are on here right now that may be employees, in the E quadrant person, or maybe they're living in the S quadrant. They're self-employed. Maybe they have a landscape company. Maybe they are a chiropractor. Maybe they're a doctor or have their own practice. Or maybe they're a real estate agent, but you're still trading your time for money. If you don't do whatever you do, you don't get paid again. So the key is to get on the right side of that equation, to get into the B quadrant where you got people making you money. Like instead of being a real estate agent, be the broker and go hire a bunch of agents to sell houses for you or whatever. Like my business with Legal Shield, I have a whole team of people all over the country that are selling legal services. And every time they do, I actually get paid a little broker type override on it. So that's how I've been working for the last 25 years. But then the I quadrant, which you can do in Pokemon investing, is you got your money making you money. Like Kevin O'Leary on Shark Tank always says, I want to send my money out of the world and have them come back with friends, right? So that's what we're here to do. That's why I follow your channel. I'm always looking at where can I park my money in Pokemon that's going to give me the best return. And I'm not looking for a 30-day return or a 90-day return, even a 12-month return. My time horizon is going to be different because I don't need the money anytime soon. My time horizon is more like 5 years.
Yeah, and so we've been going about 25 minutes. I figure it's a good time to talk about it. So guys, if anyone's been following anything happening in the Pokemon card community, Rattle Pokemon is getting sued with a slap lawsuit, whatever it is, right? I'm not giving my opinions and all that. But we do need to talk about that because if anyone, I know a lot of content creators watch my channel. If you're a content creator, this is something you open yourself up to. If you're not even a content creator, say you're running a Pokemon card business, right? You open yourself up to issues with, buyers trying to scam you, people saying you tried to scam them. Even when you're just a buyer of things, right? Stores saying, hey, you've seen news about that. Stores saying, hey, we're not going to honor our pre-orders. We're not going to refund your money, or anything like that happening, right? All you are is a small fish. We're all just little small fish, swimming around. And you complaining or going to some consumer affairs website, it's not really going to do anything. And obviously everyone knows getting legal advice or, having a lawyer or retainer is very expensive. Only, wealthy people can usually afford that type of thing. So that's another reason. So again, had this scheduled for 2 weeks, but I asked Brian, I said, like literally yesterday, I'm like, Brian, can we just talk about what you do a little bit? Because, I'm a customer of his business. I do it with him because it just makes sense, especially, being on YouTube, running a business, anyone who runs a business. And so I said, can we at least talk about a little bit what you do for anyone out there that it might help? And he said, sure. And so I'm going to kind of give Brian the floor. Tell us about Legal Shield, man. Tell him about it. Tell him about what you get, what it does, and how it can protect you.
Yeah, for sure. So there's an old saying, the rich get richer, the poor stay poor. Reason why wealthy people use attorneys to get good advice and counsel so they can make better decisions and they get ahead in life. Poor and middle class can't afford $300 an hour, so they wing their decisions on their own and they pray for the best and they stay stuck where they are. And so when I was 28 years old, I was a real estate agent, just opened up a new real estate office for our family real estate company in Maryland, just outside of Washington, D.C. And another agent who I was trying to hire to come work for our company in the interview told me how he's marketing this legal plan to his clients and friends. And I didn't know what a legal plan was, never heard anything like it. So he explained to me what this membership did, where you pay a little monthly fee and got access to attorneys to give you unlimited phone consultation and advice on anything. You want to know what your rights are. You have a question about real estate or divorce or bankruptcy or child custody or landlord-tenant issues or Pokemon. You order a big order of product from some store or whatever, and it shows up damaged, and they won't make good on it, or something's missing from the product order, and they say, "Too bad, there's nothing you can do." I mean, whatever comes up, right?
Or you're a content creator and someone wants to, try to sue you or something because they didn't like what you said on a video.
Yeah. So what are your rights? If you live in America, if you don't know your rights, you can't defend your rights. You might as well not have any rights. So what we do with a Legal Shield membership is we can call our attorneys and get advice and have them tell us what we should do or not do. You might have questions about IP or trademarking, copyright, or having a letter on the law firm's letterhead written to somebody that you're having a dispute with. I've had over 56 situations now in the last couple of decades where I had the law firm write a letter to someone who was not doing right by me. I'll give you a couple examples. I got a whole file jacket of them right here, and check this out. I had I'll give you some that you guys could probably relate to. Well, a simple one. I had a dry cleaner ruin a $48 shirt, wouldn't pay for a new one, even though they ruined my shirt. My law firm wrote them a letter. I had a $48 check the next week in my mailbox. I had an exotic car that I bought and was delivered to my house on a flatbed, and there was a big scratch, not a big, but a scratch on the driver's side door. And I was like, I just paid a lot of money for this car. The trucking company wouldn't own it. and the dealership wouldn't own it. They said no, nobody would claim responsibility. So my law firm wrote a letter to the dealer, and that $1,500 cost to get the scratch out, they took care of it. They weren't going to do it otherwise. I give you another example. I have my books. I sent out 10 cases of my books one day to people around the country. 8 of them made it. 2 of them vanished into thin air. No idea what happened. Thankfully, I insured them for a little over $400 a case. I submitted my insurance claim to the post office. They denied my claim after 3 months. They said I could appeal it. So I sent in an appeal. 3 months later, they denied it again. They said, you can appeal one more time. I sent it all back together. I put it all back in again. 2.5 months later, denied. 8.5 months down the road on this thing, and they won't give me my insurance claim. So my law firm writes a letter that I don't know if you can see this, but it's literally about 10 pages long. They write the letter to the postmaster, and guess what happens? Check this out. I got 2 checks from the postmaster for $422.59 each from the same post office that was never going to give me that money for those lost books. Have you guys ever sent something out in the mail, some Pokemon card to someone, and something happened, and now there's a fight? Are you going to cover it? Is the post office going to cover it? Is a buyer going to eat it, or were you the buyer and you were the one who's being forced to eat it? Now, Legal Shield needs to step in and handle that kind of stuff. If you're a parent like I am, or maybe you've got a spouse, do you have your will? Legal Shield will do your will instead of $1,000. They'll do your will for free. Save you $1,000 right there. If you get a speeding ticket, they'll go to defendant in court and keep the points off your record. Somebody sues you in a civil lawsuit. You're talking about this rattle guy or whatever? I don't know who he is, but if he's being sued by somebody, he's going to have to lawyer up. In a civil lawsuit, you're going to have trial defense time paid for as a part of this membership. I'll give you an example.
I mean, I don't mean you had talked about it a ton. I mean, I finally became a customer just because it just makes sense, right? I mean, because I'm not just a YouTuber. I mean, I run a business, and I've run multiple businesses. I never really thought about it, but like, I should have had this back when I had my lawn and landscaping company. But now it's just peace of mind where, like you said, any of this stuff goes wrong with people trying to say I scanned them or shipped them, or people trying to send me stuff saying I got more of it or less of it, trying to scam me, anyone trying to mess with me on YouTube. Like, it's just nice having that peace of mind. It's like, and then I think about all the things you have, like all your business expenses, and like, some people will pay for like services like, $20, $30, $40 a month for, I don't know, like streaming or to have access to this website or this information or a Patreon, whatever they're paying for. And it's like, so you're going to pay for all these, but like, you don't have your legal stuff covered for like $30, $40, $50 a month. For me, it just made sense. Like, I just know if one thing happens, it's going to pay for itself all at once because of, the numbers we deal with and then the numbers that legal advice and all that costs. So yeah, James said in the chat, it's like insurance. It's literally, that's what the best way to describe it. It's literally legal insurance. It's like having car insurance or house insurance. You pay a monthly premium, and if something were ever to rise, you're covered. You send in all your stuff. They take care of it. There's no charge. It made sense for me. It made sense.
That's an analogy I've heard many times. But it's even better than insurance, because insurance, something bad has to happen to get any value out of it. Your house has to burn down. You have to get into a car accident. You have to get sick. You have to die to use any of those insurances that everybody pays for every month. With Legal Shield, you could be adopting a child. You could be starting a business. You could be buying a home. You could be buying a car. You could be doing something really exciting in your life and still want to use this service and get value out of it. It's more like AAA and a dental plan. AAA is there when something bad happens and you need it. And it's like a dental plan. It's like preventative. Like, you go to the dentist, not when your teeth are falling out. You go to the dentist to keep your teeth in good shape. So using your
even if you don't need it, literally just questions come up. Like, I don't know the legal range. Just this year, there's tax laws changing with like LLCs, where like something about like the filing, you have to file with the government. Like, I don't know. I'm hearing about it on TikTok and YouTube. So
yeah,
call up the law firm and ask them, hey, what's the actual law here? Okay, great. Sounds good.
Yep. They have every area law covered anywhere across the United States and Canada. And it's literally $30 a month for your whole family to use one membership, $30 a month. And if you have a business, all you guys talking about business type stuff, for an extra $15 a month, they've got the home business supplement you can use it for business legal needs in addition to all your personal stuff. Here's what I would say. So I convinced, I want to be real with everybody and just tell the real story. Alex immediately saw the value in the services for himself to use, for himself and his business, for sure. But I convinced him. He didn't want to do it. He was like, well, distract me. I'm really focused on what I'm doing right now. I'm like, look, here's the thing. You're going to come across people all the time. They're going to be talking about stuff going on in their life, and you're going to tell them, hey, you ought to use a Legal Shield membership for that. It'll help you. It'll save you a ton of money and all that. I said, look, just get registered. It's literally $49 to get registered as an associate. So that way you can, as like an affiliate, you can actually refer them to the website to go sign up, and the company will compensate you for that. So I convinced him to do that. So, that's, he is an affiliate, an associate to be able to do that. And here's what I'll say to you guys. I'll throw something in there for you, just because sometimes you don't know what you don't know. And until you've had this membership and used it once, you don't know how badass it is. So anybody that decides, reach out to Alex. I don't know how you want to have him reach out to you to get information. We can.
Oh yeah, if you guys like, if you want this for anything, if you want it for personal, you have a business or you're a content creator, whatever it is. If you want any information, you can reach out to me, nostalgianomics@gmail.com. You can reach out to me on my Discord, Nostalgianomics, in the description. You can reach out to me on Instagram at Nostalgianomics. It doesn't matter how you reach out to me. If you guys want to hear more about it, no problem. So
I'm going to add something.
I just want to talk about it because of the rattle situation. It's not like anything like trying to, I just wanted to put it out there because it's in the news right now.
No, I want to put an incentive on the table for anybody if they decide they want to get with you and get some info and they want to sign up. Alex, anybody that you tell me that saw this interview and signs up, Alex will get your address. No, seriously, he'll get your address, and I will send you a signed copy of this Untrapped book. I believe this book will be very transformative for you. I think it'll put you on a path towards starting to, or maybe you're already on a path, but help you get to a wealth building path or result faster. And so, just want to throw that out there.
Hey, I wanted to take a question we got in the near beginning. They asked it multiple times, but I think it's a good question. Oh, well, I clicked on it on YouTube. I got to click on it on StreamYard. Okay. Brian, Nostalgianomics, when the time comes, how do you plan on liquidating large positions? eBay seems tedious for selling onesie-twosie. Do you have an outlet to sell large quantities at a time?
First of all, I never knew how to spell onesie and twosie. So those words look weird, but I've always said it. I've never seen it spelled. I don't know. That's a funny question. Alex, you and I even talked about that a few months ago. I'm like, I have no idea what I'm going to do with all this when the time comes. Look, here's the thing. If I hold it long enough and a box goes from 100 to 500, and in order for me to liquidate a pretty big position, I need to give a buyer a really nice discount to take a lot of it off my hands, and I need to sell it for 440 instead of 500. I still more than 4x'd my money. So to me, it's like, if I do onesies and twosies, I can get retail. If I want to move large chunks, I just have to I just go find different places or buyers that want a heck of a deal, that have a channel through which they sell cards. Maybe they do shows, maybe they got a shop, maybe they got a YouTube channel or Discord or whatever. And I'll just go find those people and say, hey, look, I got 100 boxes of Brilliant Stars. They're worth $480 right now. I'll give them all to you for $380 or $420 or something. I'm willing to, when you're in a business like that, you're willing to give up some margin for somebody who's got a bunch of cash. Guys,
I'll take them. I mean, it's now that I do like whatnot streams, I do box breaks. I mean, I talk to a good amount of streamers now. I talk to other people who buy box. A lot of people, when it comes to very liquid items, will pay you anywhere from 80 to 85%. Now, if you sell yourself on eBay fees plus shipping, you're probably going to get about 85%, maybe less, maybe more. But so there, as long as it's liquid, like sealed items do well. People, your pack breakers need them, things like that. So you can actually get 80, 85% on those. Now, the times you hear when stores or sellers are only offering you like 60%, usually those are for illiquid cards, junk slabs or slabs that aren't going to move fast. But anything that's really liquid, especially sealed product, you can usually move pretty easily. So I wouldn't let that be some like a discouragement on that. And also, when you say large amounts, like, yeah, Brian's probably got a huge, he's got a large amount, but like anyone out, I would guess that most people watching this most probably don't even have six figures. Everyone doesn't even have seven figures in this stuff. So you'd be surprised at how quick a market can eat up 50, 100, 150 grand of sealed product. You could get rid of that really. Obviously, it's not clicking a button like a stock market, but you can get rid of it very quickly.
Yep.
Very quickly. Yeah. So that's a good question. James wants to know. Oh God, I keep doing it. I keep hitting the YouTube one. All right. He was asking something about when the whole All right. I want to know Brian's thoughts on calling the audible and changing the investing strategy when stuff like COVID messes up with the market. Did you change up anything? Did you just kind of, keep rolling forward, buy more? How'd you handle any of your investments with COVID?
James Kinzer. You have a brother or cousin or somebody, John Kinzer? I don't know. I've got a John Kinzer, a friend of mine in Chicago. I just got back into the sports and Pokemon card game right when COVID began. So I'm not like Alex. I was not already rolling in this prior to COVID to see what happened and what the changes were. So I can't answer that. Alex, you're probably better at that.
I mean, COVID was just one form of thing that happened. Like me, I guess you could say I had paper hands, but I sold out during COVID. When I see things go, up hundreds, some thousands of % in a matter of months or a year, that's for me, that just tells me bubble. It tells me things are going to fall off. So when I see massive movements like that in a short amount of time, I like to take profits. And if I really want those items, a lot of times I can get back in. Sometimes they keep going and you miss out because, like Brian said, there's a reason they moved up. But yeah, I mean, I think during those times of like mass hysteria, I would one, probably be cautious about buying, and then two, second guess yourself on things you may have not wanted to sell before. But yeah, I mean, there's obviously time in the market's better than timing the market, but there are instances like that where there are things you can take advantage of for sure.
Yeah, look, I mean, there's an old saying, pigs get fed, hogs get slaughtered.
Yes.
So with timing the situation, you have to appreciate that if something goes up really high, really fast, if it's hysteria, if it's some external reasons why that might not remain that way, it might make sense to sell at some kind of a peak. And if you want that stuff, you can buy it back later on. The reason why I didn't sell Apple when Apple was growing and growing and growing and growing in stock value is because I kept on asking myself over and over the same question. Is Apple going to continue to get bigger and bigger and expand their product line and expand their services and their monthly service revenues and so forth? And my answer kept on coming back to me. It's going to get bigger. It's going to get bigger. It's going to get bigger. So, but what I think that happened in Pokemon and during COVID is a lot of people got back into the industry or into the hobby that were in it years before. And then every day there always are kids that are like my kids' ages that are discovering Pokemon for the first time. So you always have the organic growth of kids coming of age, seeing packs at Target when their mom's checking out, wanting to buy a pack, or their friend in school is carrying around a Pikachu card and they're like, oh, I want to start collecting those too. So that's always going to continue to grow new people in. But then you've got the people that come back that gave it up for a while. And when they come back, they're older and they're in bigger earnings years of their career. And they've got more discretionary money to spend, which is what happened during COVID. Everybody that came back in from the 1999 era, and they had all this money to spend, and they're bidding everything up. I believe we won't have I don't think there's going to be another COVID per se, but I think there could be other events that cause people to get really big into hobbies again. But even without that, so many people that came back during COVID, like me, are staying here now, on top of the organic regular growth that was always going to be happening. So I think the IP and the marketplace, the demand will always continue to edge up in a strong fashion.
Yeah. And since sports cards in the title, I want to jump into sports cards, but first I like to always address anything right up front. And I see multiple of this in the chat. So I'm just going to address the one person because a few people have been saying this. Godly Shad. What is the pyramid scheme going on here? People like saying there's some kind of pyramid scheme with Legal Shield. Guys, if you don't know what a pyramid scheme is when basically you get paid off like how many people you can get, trying to, push something, but like there's no actual value in any of the product or the service. What Legal Shield is, like I said, it's like insurance. And so the same way an insurance company takes in tons of premiums a year and they only have to pay out a certain amount of claims, that's how they make their money, because even though everyone's paying out in a lot less than what a claim would cost, if there's millions of people all paying in to a service, but they're only having to pay out claims for a little bit, they make a profit. Same way with Legal Shield. Instead of every person who gets it, the small amount of people who need legal advice going and paying a lawyer full price, It's basically just like that. There's millions or hundreds of thousands of people all paying a law firm or all paying a lawyer a small premium, and there's only a small amount of people actually using that per month or per year. That's how the lawyer's able to give out that service at just a monthly rate and not charge for it, is because they're getting enough premiums from all of the people who just, like I said, they just have a peace of mind. They may only use it once a year, once every couple of years. So that's kind of where the money comes from, if you were wondering.
Yeah, let me expand on that for a quick second. And what you're saying generally makes sense. But I will tell you that the law firms with Legal Shield are taking in 40,000 calls a week. Wow. 2 million people a year are using 2 million times a year. Our members are calling the law firms, getting legal help with stuff. So it is a very utilized service. But again, the model makes sense. We've got 4.4 million people that are paying for the service each month, and there is great revenue going to the law firms to pay them 6 and 7 figures a month to take care of the members in their state. Legal Shield, the company, does really well. Matter of fact, it was taken private off the New York Stock Exchange for $650 million several years back. And the associates that are actually the sellers that are signing people up for the service, just like a realtor or an insurance agent, they're getting paid their commission and a residual on it. But when somebody here, I don't want to offend anybody. When somebody says, "Oh, is this a pyramid scheme?" They want to make it sound like a negative thing when they're asking that question. And by the way, there are pyramid schemes in this world. So I understand that some people have this lens of skepticism. Hey, is this a legit thing or not? So I get that. I don't like it when people are trying to be a troll and try to label something that they don't really know anything about. That's not cool or fair. But I'll tell you,
you can't be in the wrong place, because that's the Pokemon hobby.
Yeah, I see that all the time. There's a lot of trolls. And look, and I'm not going to change those people today. And if you're a troll, you're a troll. Just go look in the mirror. You don't even see it. You don't see the werewolf. But anyway, my point is Legal Shield a legit legal company? Well, first of all, you can't have any legal company. What we market is law firms. Every year at our national, I've been with the company for 25 years now. I left our family real estate company to be full-time with Legal Shield. So obviously it's pretty substantial. And every year at our convention, we have an attorney general on our stage talking about how everybody in America needs to have this service and how much they love our company. So and we've got 34,000, check this out, Alex, 34,000 companies that offer Legal Shield as an employee benefit to their employees. You can't have 34,000 business owners, smart people who own companies, would not let a pyramid scheme into their offices and say, hey, offer this service to our employees. A lot of them even pay for their employees to have this, out of the company coffer, because it's such a valuable service they want their employees to have. So anyway, I don't want to say, hey, that's a good question. I don't know. It was probably trying to be a bad question, like a troll, but
no, that's why I like to take them, because people think that when you ignore things, you're trying to hide something. I take all the criticism, just because it's, if you're doing anything, you need to be able to defend anything you're doing, and it's just so easy to squash out those stupid little things. But
here's the thing: I've been doing this 25 years, Alex. I've never had anybody make a comment or pose a question like that who was wealthy. It's usually the poor or broke people. By the way, poor is a condition of who they are. Broke is a temporary circumstance. So just because somebody's broke does not mean they have a poor attitude or a poor mindset. They just don't have any money currently. But typically it's the poor people that look at business or make comments like that. All the wealthy people I know, and I tell them about Legal Shield, like, oh my gosh, what a brilliant model. So anyway.
Yeah. And then, so I want to get into the sports card thing. So, but what kind of parallels and what kind of differences do you see? Because you have a good position of sports card sealed, Pokemon sealed, sports card slabs and singles, and Pokemon slabs and singles. What are the kind of the benefits and the negatives of each one? What do you see, or what kind of plays do you make in each one? Because you got a definitely different mindset, because I don't do sports. A lot of people in this community don't do sports, but I think a lot of people maybe dabble in other card games or sports, and they want more knowledge. So you being in it for so long, you just kind of drop some knowledge on that side of things.
Yeah, look, so the difference that I appreciate about Pokemon is Charizard's not going to break a leg. He's not going to get traded to another team and then have a poor season, right? So I like the fact that Pokemon, it is what it is. If the set is good and the supply and demand, thing, it works out in the favor of more demand than supply, then the value can go up, and it has nothing to do with performance. Now, unless it's like in play and, people can actually use it during that season where it causes a lot of people to need it for their decks or whatever. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, when I put $20,000 into John Morant rookie cards, and then he gets on Instagram and waves a gun around, and they instantly go down to 10,000. So, sports is a little different. Well, give me some more clarity on what you're asking.
I guess I'm kind of ignorant to it. So okay, on the serialized cards, the serialized card products. Okay, I mean, I'm guessing that, other than the 1/1s, even all the 1/1s, and then the 1/20s and 1/99s, I'm under the assumption, I guess, a lot of those probably we never see the light of day. They never get pulled. They're stuck in sealed products. Does that help the value of all those sets sealed products after certain cards are pulled? Does that kill them? How's that work?
You've got products that come out now, and they're hyping up some 1/1 card. Like they just took a Bowman, which is owned by Topps, which is Fanatics now. They got Tom Brady, put him in a Montreal Expos uniform, holding a baseball bat, because he was actually drafted by the Expos before he decided to go into football.
Oh,
so
really?
so he never had a baseball card. So hey, here's a gimmick. We can actually make a Bowman first baseball card of Tom Brady, and we can put him in the new baseball product that's coming out that just came out a few months ago. And they had him sign a bunch of them, numbered out of 50 or numbered out of 100 or whatever. And then they had like a couple of them that said he inscribed it. Hey, if baseball doesn't work, I will always have football. Or if football doesn't work, I'll always have baseball. Whatever. And so he did that with his signature. And then Fanatics or other like David Adams and some big companies out there said, hey, we're going to put a bounty out. If you get that inscribed card, we will pay you $500,000 for it or $250,000 for it. So when those had not been pulled yet, the wax boxes were being really bid up because everybody thought that the ceiling was so high in that product that if they hit big. Once the big hits are pulled and people are like, oh, the ceiling has dropped because the biggest cards are not available anymore. It's kind of like, whatever that TV show, the game show on TV, with all the little suitcases.
Oh, let's make a deal. Or no,
Deal or No Deal.
Deal or No Deal.
Yeah. So if the $1 million and $500,000 suitcases are still in there, then the banker's going to give you a bigger offer. Now, if those are open and their big ones are not there anymore, then the banker's going to give you much low. It's the same kind of thing with sealed product.
Do those serial? I know the players, depends on how they do, if they get injured. How do the majority of those serialized cards do? Do those hold up a lot better than the other cards? Even if the players, something happens with them, lawsuit, or they fizzle out, or
whatever happens with a player, whether it's stuff that's off the court or whether it's the stats on the field or whatever's going to cause that player to be sought after is going to drive the card value up or down. Now, then there's a matter of whether it's base, meaning an unnumbered card, or a serialized card. So let's say, who's hot right now? Let's say CJ Stroud in football. His cards are doing really, really well because he just almost went to the Super Bowl and his rookie season. Crazy, right? So because CJ Stroud was doing well, his base card might be worth, let's say, PSA 10. Maybe his base prism is like $100. But then his base, but his card that's numbered out of 250 might be worth 3x. His numbered out of 50 might be worth 5x. His numbered out of 10 might be worth 50x. So the serialization just causes it to have some level of scarcity. So the base cards, the average collector can go get base cards, and then people want to start paying up and getting the more rare cards. They just go get the lower number cards. It's as simple as that. I saw somebody talking lately about, what if TCGs like Pokemon start doing serial cards, like numbering some cards and making some more scarce than others? Yes, that would be crazy. Yes, Pokemon boxes now, you think they're crazy high. If they have some numbered 1 out of 1s or 1 out of 10s or 1 out of 100s, people be going crazy. It would be fights at Walmart and Target again. It would go crazy. Now, would that be good or bad for the hobby? You can look at it both ways. I hope they never do that. They don't need to do that. They don't need to be gimmicky. I think Pokemon needs to keep on doing what it's doing. It's doing just fine.
So, oh wow. So you did. Wow. I'm almost on the other side of things. Like, especially with like these new sets. I mean, we're seeing the top hit cards in the sets go like, I mean, the Miriam and base set is like a $30 card. I mean, even the Paradox Rift cards are in like the 40s, 50s, 60s now. I mean, we're seeing like the top pull you can pull in the entire box, like well under $100. So you don't think that's an issue? You think that Pokemon will keep doing the same thing?
Well, yeah, because there's other levers they can pull. They don't need to put serialized cards in there, just alter the pull rates. Like some of those cards are so cheap because the product's cheap. But they also, the pull rates are, pull rates on Evolving Skies. The reason why Moonbound is so high is because it's really, 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 you have to open a shit ton of packs to finally pull one.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so many other pulls that might be taking its place. So it's just so hard to get one. But if in Rift or Paldea or whatever, some of these cards you're talking about, if they're only $30 and they're not $500, it's because either the artwork doesn't warrant it, or because it's not that popular, or maybe it's just too easy to get them. Or frankly, I told you this the other day, Scarlet and Violet is upsetting me because I've not opened a single pack, and I've opened a ton of them, where all the back corners are not all dinged. Like the print job is just horrible these days. If they get that right, maybe some people feel like, well, I can go grade some of these and get some PSA 10s maybe, so they'll go out and break more product.
Yeah. That's surprising too, is seeing that the PSA 10s aren't holding that much of a premium, like over other, eras or anything. I mean, you would think they would see because of how hard they are to grade, because of how chopped up the cards are. So
true. I feel like right now, a lot of people have not crossed the chasm over to Scarlet and Violet yet. I think so many people have so much recent nostalgia, like I do, over Sword and Shield. Like I love Sword and Shield. I'm liking it more every day. And as a sale product and stuff continues to inch its way upward, it's making me FOMO a little bit more. So I'm still going backwards, trying to find cheap boxes of Sword and Shield. And I'm waiting for Scarlet and Violet to mature a little bit, to have a few more sets come out. Hopefully get the printing stuff figured out better. And when people really get into Scarlet and Violet and they're really loving it, and there's more sets to be involved with, I think the age will come. But right now I'm still stuck in Sword and Shield.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing I'm thinking about. Is I got in during XY, right? And so I love the XY era. A lot of people hate the XY era. I love it. Like that's where my nostalgia is, because that's where I got back into the hobby, right? And you with Sword and Shield, your kids and yourself, I'm seeing sets like 151, which brought tons of people back in the hobby. Paldean Fates, a lot of investors, businesses don't like it. The collectors love it ever since this came out. And I know it's with new sets. You can say every new set's like that. Not true. I've been opening packs now for people for a while. And I can say, other than 151, Paldean Fates is the most requested set to be opened over, base, Paldea, Eval, Paradox Rift. People love the set. And so I see that and I'm like, I just see these sets that are coming out. I know people are going to have nostalgia for the time they got back in. No, less people are probably getting back in than did during, Evolutions or the back then, or when they did with Hidden Fates and the pandemic, or when they did with Sword and Shield. Maybe less, but there's tons of people still getting in the hobby right now that are going to have some affinity for Scarlet Violet.
For sure.
Yeah.
No,
I mean, your kids, right? I mean, your kids are just going to remember opening all the packs they got for doing their tours and everything, and the cards they never got to pull.
So I'm going to dictate that. Am I giving them Scarlet and Violet packs right now, or am I giving them Sword and Shield packs right now?
What are you doing?
That's going to be their nostalgic anchor. I've been giving them both. Especially at their age, they don't care about the back corners of the Scarlet and Violet stuff. So, and I can buy those packs cheaper. So when if I gotta bribe them to eat their dinner or to do whatever I gotta bribe them with, it's a cheaper bribe. So Scarlet and Violet's a little easier for the kids.
Brian, what's your thoughts on vintage, man? I'm sure everyone wants to hear it. Are you investing in any vintage, or are you sticking to the modern side?
I've never bought a vintage box, but it's just, to me, it's just expensive, and even though I got a bunch of money, I just can't get myself to just go buy like a $20,000 box or whatever. But vintage singles, I'm not a buyer of singles. I'll grade singles that I get. And sometimes I'll try, if I come across somebody who wants to sell me their collection, they've got some cool vintage stuff in it. I've graded some of that stuff that came out of a collection, but I've never been somebody who's bought any kind of slabbed or sealed vintage stuff. But I love it. I love it. I love the fact that other people love it. As an investor, I love the love that other people actually grew up in that era with it.
Yeah, and I'm not going to give my opinion one way or another. I mean, the reason I like modern more is because I like knowing my entry point is going to be the lowest risk with the highest upside potential. Whereas even when things drop from, whatever they're at, 10 grand to 5 grand, 2 grand to 1 grand, there's still a lot of downside risk there. But I do want to point out the fact that someone like you who does have more money than most everyone in this chat, probably everyone, you can buy anything you want in the Pokemon realm, and you choose not to, because there is an argument all the time that, people, nowadays, all the trolling we talk about, it's because you're a brokey, you can't afford vintage. Like, no, I can't afford what you can. I can't afford, but I can afford a lot of things. And I choose not to buy any of those things because it's great if you want to collect, right? It's just, when you buy something that's already at 1, 5, 10, 20 grand, for that to double, and then you think about where that 1, 5, 10, 20 grand could be put elsewhere and how easy that could double before those things could, it just doesn't make financial sense. Unless you're just a hardcore collector and you want to own a part of history or something, it just doesn't make financial sense in my perspective.
Well, it's just playing at a higher level, and that's just not the place I'm playing at. Like, there's people, I've got a friend of mine that I know through my industry that is involved in a lot of auctions for high-end comic books, for example.
Okay.
And he and I talked about a year ago, and we were just catching up because we knew each other. We both are successful in what we do. So we've known each other for years, and he found out that I was into cards, and we got on the phone. We spent an hour just geeking out over stuff. And he tells me he gets into these auctions. He'll buy a comic book for $90,000, and he'll flip it to another buyer a month later for $110,000. He made $20,000 with one comic book. That is so much easier than if I bought $90,000 worth of boxes of something and had to go find buyers for $120,000 worth of boxes. He had one comic book that he could put into a briefcase versus a garage full of stuff. So there's pros and cons to all of it, but the great thing is, wherever anybody's space that they want to play in, if you just lean into it, you can do well at the high level or at the low level. I just happen to be in the low level. That's just kind of where, maybe it's nostalgically, where I was 15 to 20 years old when I was a dealer back then. I wasn't operating in Mickey Mantles. I was operating in the Bo Jackson, the Darryl Strawberries, and the Mark McGuires and stuff back then. So I played low level then. I'm still playing low level now. I'm just doing a lot of volume at the low level.
Yeah. I think the volume is it's just a lot less risky, right? Because it's just like you said, you can make the big money. You can also lose the big money. Everyone. I think a lot of people got a bad taste in their mouth and left both hobbies. Not just this hobby, even the sports hobby, when it's solid, it's boom and bust, is when you're buying cards that are at, those high valuations, and then they drop in half or 3/4 pretty much overnight. Yeah. A lot of people never recover from that. It can turn them off from the whole hobby, from collecting in general, thinking it's like a scam. And so like, that's the only thing I'm worried about, where, buying modern boxes at $80, $90, it's never happened, right? Like, I've never seen it happen in 9 years. I've never seen them drop below 70 or 80s or 70s or 80s.
Yeah, the risk profile is so minimal. But here's the thing. Yeah. Somebody getting in and starting to be an investor and buying a bunch of stuff in 2020, 21, when things were at the all-time COVID high, and then losing money because since then it's come down in price. That's like somebody getting into the stock market when the stock market was at an all-time high in a cycle, and then within a year or two after the peak, where they just happened to get in at the wrong time from a timing perspective, and all of a sudden within a year or two they sell the stock at a loss because like, oh my gosh, I'm not good at this, or the stock market sucks, and then they miss the next uptick. The stock market goes like this. If they get in here and they sell here, and they're like, oh, I'm swearing off the stock market forever. That's like saying, hey, I'm dating a girl, I'm 17 years old, and the relationship goes south and we break up. I'm not going to throw out the institution of dating and marriage just because one relationship didn't work out, right? So people need to just grow up and be like, hey, look, you win some, you lose some. That was a timing issue. They got in at the top of a peak, and they sold. You sold down here. Well, it's probably even lower than when you sold. If you come back in down here now and then ride the next uptick. Anyway, we don't need to. And by the way, my disclaimer is I'm not a licensed broker dealer with regards.
None of this is financial advice. We're just telling you, what we do. So Brian, like, yes. So right this second, right now, right? You said you bought that Brilliant Stars box. Where's your attention right now? What have you been looking for? What have you been? I mean, are you, I know you said you're not opening any Scarlet and Violet. Are you paying attention to any Scarlet and Violet prices right now for move-ins? Are you still focusing your money on Sword and Shield? Is that money being focused on sports at all? Where are you focusing right now?
New sports stuff is just, when you open it, you lose money. It just is what it is. Unless you get a big hit, you lose money. By the way, my son came screaming downstairs when I was in the basement yesterday. He came screaming down and even dropped the F-bomb at 17 years old. I was a little shocked to hear him with that word coming out of his mouth, but he opened up a 2021 optic football blaster box. He's got some sealed stuff in his bedroom, and I've tried to teach him discipline to not open stuff. Well, he opened it up and he came running down, and he got a Trevor Lawrence downtown rookie card, which in PSA 10 sells for $1,700, and he got a lot out of a blaster box my mom gave him for Christmas 2 years ago. So,
so he kept it for 2 years and finally opened it.
Yeah, finally opened it. He just had a feeling. He got a Joe Burrow autograph out of a box a year and a half ago, and that he got a 1010 for the conditioning and the autograph 1010, and that's about a $2,500 card. So, you can have fun. I don't want to have no fun and never open anything, because then it's not really collecting. It's, so, but I'm not buying a lot of new stuff to open. I'll buy some just to have fun with my older son on the sports side. I buy some to open Pokemon wise with the 2 younger boys. But other than that, I still speculate in sports cards, rookie cards, or GOATs like, Tom Brady or Michael Jordan, that I think will always have major demand. And then on Pokemon, I don't buy singles, really. I just don't. For the most part, I've been buying some Mewtwo's. I'll show you real quick. I got some down here. Like I love Mewtwo. So like I bought some of these for my sons. Like PSA 9 cost like, I don't know, like $25-$30 for like, and it's like a promo card or something, like not even some expensive cards. But if I can buy a slab like that, they can put in little displays I've got on their walls in their rooms now. It just makes it fun. I want to teach them collecting. But if
it's like less than buying a piece of artwork.
Yeah. But investing, I'm just, booster boxes of Sword and Shield, Lost Origin, Brilliant Stars, and maybe Silver Tempest. Obviously I love Crown Zenith. It's very bulky to buy that stuff because there's no booster boxes, but I got a shit ton of, sorry about my language, but I got a lot of ETBs and even small boxes of the little collector tins. So, it's bulky, but, I got space. I'm just filling up the space with it.
So that's car show you're going to this weekend. Are you guys vending, or you selling, or are you just there to hang out?
We got a table. Yeah.
Oh, you do?
I'll just be selling sports card singles. I buy sports card collections all the time and pull out a few things I want to keep or grade, and then everything else I just sell at good prices and move things along.
Well, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well, I know we can go for an hour. I know you got things to do, man. I mean, is there any last thoughts? Anything you wanted to, any advice you wanted to hand anybody, or any last thoughts you got?
Look, people come to your channel. You're giving content like daily, so it's like I don't really have anything new about Pokemon or sports cards.
Yeah, just anything. Kind of thing.
But so, what value can I give that you or other people you talked with on here can't give? Well, I would just circle back to what is my life mission? My goal is to help teach people how to stop being a slave for money. It's been said, Warren Buffett gets credit for this as well. If you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you're going to work until you die. So I just want to encourage everybody to go read Cash Flow Quadrant and Rich Dad Poor Dad by Kiyosaki. Get my Untrapped book and read that. Figure out how to stop trading your time for money. If you have to trade your time for money, then you'll never have time freedom, because you have to keep giving your time to get your next paycheck. That's no way to live. And I say that, with total compassion. I'm a part of a dad's group on Facebook. It's been around for like, I don't know, several months now. They got 105,000 dads that are in this group. And I saw somebody posting that group this morning, and it had like 400 and some comments. A dad was talking about how he's struggling financially, and he feels so much pressure on his chest every day, trying to figure out how he can make ends meet. And he's trying to find a second or a third job right now because he's got to provide for his family, his kids. And that hurts my heart. I believe whoever much is given, much is expected. It's my duty. I feel it's my duty to teach people the stuff I've learned about the game of money. And so, people can call
it a game of money. I like it.
It is a game, and most people are losing the game. They have no idea that there's a game even being played, and they're a pawn in somebody else's game. If you're an employee working for a company or a boss, you're a pawn in your boss's game, and it just is what it is, whether you recognize that or not. So I know I'm a little preachy right now, but when I'm in different like sports card groups, and when I post in there, hey, I'm buying these boxes. Anybody's got up to 10 grand to spend. I get people that are messaging me like, hey, you want to buy this box? You want to buy this box? But some people are like, where do you get 10 grand to invest in cards? I'm like, funny you should ask. And I tell them, I'm like, hey, look, I got, I was in real estate. I got into the side business. I started making all this residual income from it and so forth. So I've got discretionary money that I can invest in cards.
And then that's the thing is like a lot of people that, even other like big businesses, creators that you see with, that they have all the eye candy and all this product and they buy tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands in cards and they make videos about it. Here's the thing, guys. Those people doing that, they're flipping. That's in the door or out the door as fast as it came in the door. So they're buying 100,000, but then they're selling it for 110, 120, whatever. They're making margin. Like very few people right now are buying 10, 20, 100 grand of stuff and sitting on it. Most everyone, it's churn and burn. So investing in the stuff at those levels is a lot different.
Yeah. So that's why I love what I do. I mean, when people in a sports card group reach out to me like, hey, can you show me how you do what you do? They're not saying, is it a pyramid scheme? They're saying, show me how I can make an extra $500 or an extra $1,000 a month so I can buy the cards I've been wanting to get. Or like
I have a question.
The Bad's group is like, hey, show me how I can make an extra $1,000 because I can't even provide for my kids right now. We had to get rid of one of our 2 cars. My wife and I have to share a car. Like, that's horrible. I don't like to see people going through that. But if they can have some sort of a home-based business where they can get the tax advantages to be able to write off the cost of their mortgage or rent, right, because of a home office expense. They can write off their internet. They can write off their cell phone. They can write off any expenses. They can write all that off, and they have a way to make money by marketing a product or a service. Like in my company with Legal Shield, I just market a service where they go online and sign up. They download the app, and now they can use it whenever they need it. And there's a commission paid on that. It's like, that's why I love what I do. And maybe none of your viewers have any interest in that, but I'm saying find something. But
the same thing goes for Pokemon. The same thing goes for Pokemon. Like that's like a number one question. I always get every video I try to show the investment or the business, it's always, but there's taxes. There's taxes. What about taxes? It's like, guys, set up a freaking business and you can learn about all the different tax write-offs and everything that reduces all those taxes down for you. Because if taxes is really the reason you're not doing this, there you go.
I've got chapters for a home-based business owner on how the tax advantages work. So you know exactly what you can write off. Anybody who says, oh my gosh, but I don't want to make more money because then I would have to pay more taxes. Don't ever say that out loud, and don't put it on the internet. That will never be able to be erased. Don't make yourself look so stupid in front of people, because that's silly. Like, why would you not want to? I don't want to make another 100 grand a year because I would have to pay another 25,000 in taxes, but you still have an extra 75 grand left over. Why? Who cares? Who cares that you make more taxes? It doesn't make no sense. But then they're asking for mom and dad to let them live in their basement. So.
No, I know exactly what you mean, man. It's just kind of the way it is in the world, And most people just want to, complain or troll or and like that's what my channel's for. Like, there's so many channels out there. Like I'm not going to name the names, but guys, there's so many drama-filled channels or channels that people just want to bitch and complain or that's out there. Go do it. Like I get people think it's funny to come to my channel and troll and try to get the chat going, and that's fine. You can do that if that's what you want to spend your day doing. But for anyone who actually wants like.
How does that make somebody happy though? Going in, think about this. So let's see if we can convert 2 people from troll to nice people right now. What is that? Yes, it entertains you when you go in there and troll somebody. Like you feel like, hey, I'm funny, or hey, I stuck it to the man, I stuck it to him, or whatever. But at the end of the day, what did that do for you? Did that make you feel closer to God? Did that make you feel? Did that actually put money in your bank account? Did that bring you and your spouse closer in your marriage? It didn't do any, you gain nothing from it other than making somebody else feel bad. Why would you want to do that? It makes no sense to me. But people spend their time trying to tear other people down so that it makes their building look a little taller. But you're building, nobody respects you for being the best troll on the internet. Well, other trolls might say, "Oh my gosh, they're the king of the dipshits. They're the best troll, and I'm trying to be a troll like them one day." Well, that's not the community I would want to be in. Anyway, I gotta run. I gotta run.
All right, hey guys, Brian's gonna get off. I'll stick around for a little bit and answer anyone's questions you guys got. Brian, thanks for being here, man. Thanks for taking time out of your day. I'll be in touch. As always, if you need anything from me, I don't know what you would, but if you need anything from me, you're always reach out.
Sword and Shield booster boxes. So find me.
I'll keep a lookout for you.
Yeah, there you go. Thanks. Appreciate it. See ya.
See you, man. All right. Oh, Brian, you can hop off whenever. I guess leave studio. There you go. All right, guys. Yeah, it is funny. I know I saw Walrus in here. Hey guys, think about this. Mr. Walrus left my Discord, hasn't been to any of my videos or any of my live streams, and I don't know how long. Obviously, he's friends with all the people that hate me, but he comes to the live stream just to troll and hate. I mean, like Brian was saying, guys, like, look, it doesn't bother me. I mean, maybe I can see some people, in the chat or some people's feelings get hurt. Mine don't. It's just like, it's just, I don't understand what you get out of it. Like trying to troll me or troll other people or try to talk them down or talk yourself up or like even not even like the trolling, even like all like the exaggerations you see on other people's channels. Like, oh, we're making X amount. I'm making hundreds of %. I'm just flipping this, flipping that. And it's just like, and that's why I came up with that joke. Like, well, where's your Lamborghinis? Where's your Bugattis? Where's your beach house? Like, if they're all making so much freaking money, like, where is it? Like, it's just like, there's so many drama channels out there. Like, you can go listen to all the drama channels. That's what gets the views. That's what gets the clicks anyway. Like, go do it. I'm not trying to be some, big fancy YouTuber. Like, I'm trying to provide real value here, right? I'm trying to provide anything I can to where people can make extra money, to where people can, become entrepreneurs, where people can better their Pokemon collecting, their Pokemon investing, their Pokemon business, whether, find better prices or, have fun, be entertained by pack breaks, like anything that's going to positively enrich people's lives or the community. That's it. And guess what, guys? If you don't like, the investing side of Pokemon, don't do it. Don't watch that video. If you don't like the business entrepreneur stuff, like some of the today was, don't do it. If you don't like, pack breaks because you don't like, don't show up. Don't do it. Like, it's really simple not to do something over like just showing up just to like troll. And I see here the Walrus is back. Oh man. Let's see. It wasn't a troll. You're getting cut from people that sign up for Brian. Just say that and there's no comments. We already say, he said that like multiple times. Does Mr. Walrus, do you have car insurance? Do you have home insurance? How do you buy those? Did you go through an insurance agent? How'd you buy your house? Did you have a real estate agent help you with your home purchase? Did all of those people make a commission off selling a service? Is this some kind of like hidden knowledge? Any service, right, has to be promoted and marketed and sold. Like, I mean, I'm sure there are services and products that don't need that, right? And people can just go on, add to cart and buy. But for the most part, most services are marketed and sold. And the people who do that get a commission. There's businesses based around it. Just drive down your street. There's 1,000 insurance agencies all doing the same thing. I don't know why this is like some sort of new thing, but it's just funny how like, hold on. It's also so stupid. Where's your Lambo? You use the references so wrong. It's not stupid because if all of these, you people like you who say that they flip all these hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of %, well, don't all those hundreds and hundreds and all this just free money you make all the time, wouldn't it eventually add up to millions of dollars? Like, what's taking so long? If everything's so easy and everyone's just got free money falling from the sky, where's that? Show it. Show some money. If you don't want to buy Lambos and then beach homes, well, I don't know. I mean, here, show a screenshot of your 6-figure, 7-figure, 8-figure bank accounts, right? Like, I'm here for realness. I'm here to provide what reality is and what people can actually do, and not talk about these visions of grandeur or the trolling or the sarcastic type comments. Like, go to all other channels for that. I don't care. Like, I said it before. I've unfollowed. I don't care about the things all the Pokemon community does. I don't care. I don't care. I do my thing. I provide value for those that want it. For those that don't, take it or leave it, right? Just like Brian said, I produce content almost daily. No way every video is going to be for everyone. I released a video earlier this week on how to buy and sell on TCG Player and eBay. Now, I'm willing to bet that a large portion of my audience does not need that video. Some are even better than me and sell more than me on those platforms, okay? But there's a lot of people who've been asking for that video. I got a lot of people commenting on the video saying, thank you so much. I've just been starting to sell. I've just been thinking about selling. And so every one of my videos is going to be not for everyone. It's just to help, each individual person throughout the way. That's what my channel is about. It's not about trying to get the most views, most clicks, be the most clickbaity, make the most memes and jokes and drama. That's not what my channel is. My channel is, it's a legitimate investing, business, entrepreneurial channel. And then, yes, we do pack breaks for entertainment once a week on here. That's it. That's what we do here. Mikey, I appreciate that, man. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I field any attack. People attack me. People attack me hard on the rattle thing. Look, I already said it. I'm not giving my opinion on the whole rattle, situation, right? Do I like his content? No. Do I hate the guy? No. I don't hate anyone. Why would I hate Rattle, right? He's never come at me. Sean's a friend of mine, but it's like, I have tons of friends, right? I have tons of friends. What each one of them does or doesn't do doesn't affect if I'm their friend or not, right? I mean, I posed the question. Can you name every single friend and family member and everyone in your life that's important to you, and you truly agree and with everything they do and would do the same things they do? And if you say no, okay, well, do you still support them? Are you still their friend? Are you still their brother, sister, son, daughter, mom, dad? Like, you have to look at things in a different light, guys. So, but yeah, I don't mind the attacks because I have nothing to hide. I'm an open book. I said it before, like, you can come at me with anything you want. I'll be happy to defend myself because like I said, I have nothing to hide. Purple Raikou, it's okay to get a cut from something you're promoting as long as you genuinely believe it. Basically, yeah. So that's the other thing I wanted to. I didn't add in that walrus. Brian didn't tell you that, right? I was a customer of this service because I'm a YouTuber. I have a business. It was only recently that I decided, because he's been, telling me how good I would. It's only recently I decided to become a broker for them. Recently, right? I was already using the service, which is a good service. This is not. You do not have to sign up and sell the stuff, right? It's like you don't have to go to become an insurance agent to use insurance. Everyone has insurance, though. It's like if you don't have to sell something for it to be a good product or service. Like that wasn't even what this was about. It was about giving people an option to be protected if they wanted to for their other regular business or Pokemon business, if they're a YouTuber, content creator, any way they want to be protected. That was what it was about. And again, we weren't even going to talk about that. It was only because of the recent drama this week where I pulled an audible and said, hey, Brian, I think we should talk about this. And he said, sure thing. Let's do it. So like, this wasn't even planned. It was just because of what happened. I thought, hey, I would want to know about this if I was, starting to get worried about some of the stuff going on in the community. That's all it was, man. But if you want to make more of it, go ahead, man. Go ahead. Oh, all right. Let's see. Where was I? People talking about the Thunderdome. I'm ready for tonight's Thunderdome. Yeah, guys, box break tonight. Hey, Mr. Walrus, guess what? I'm promoting a box break now. Now you can really troll on me. So box breaks tonight, 7 p.m., same right here on the channel. We got a little everything. I got 151, Crown Zenith, Paldean Fates. We got pretty much all Scarlet and Violet if anyone wants to open that. Paldea, Paradox, base set. I mean, pretty much any stuff anyone wants to open, have some fun. You can come do that. If you don't want to open it, you can still show up. We hang out, have a good time. You can get away from all the negativity and trolling on YouTube, and we all just hang out and support each other. So, yeah. I hope to see all you guys at the box break tonight. Even if you don't want to get packs, just show up, hang out. It's free. Oh, man. Okay. Let's see. PokeKid, what's up? I have some CGC 10s that I would like to cross the PSA. I don't want to crack. Have you ever sending CGC 10s to PSA? Okay, so here's my thoughts on this, PokeKid, and you do not have to take my advice on this. This is just my personal This is my personal advice. All right. I always crack. And the reason is, okay, Logan Paul is a perfect example. All right. Stick with me. Okay. If you guys don't know the story, Gary King Pokemon, he sent every one of his PSA 10 first edition base Charizards into Beckett to try to cross them over to a pristine. All of them came back without being able to. Logan Paul bought one, cracked it open, and sent it in as a raw card, and he got the pristine 10. A lot of times these grading companies do not want to cross the cards up a higher grade. They want to feel like their grading is superior, and they don't want whatever reason they have. I always feel more comfortable cracking the slab and sending it in as a fresh raw grade. It's a little more risky, right? Because then it might come back even lower, and then it might get damaged along the cracking or whatever, or the packaging there. I get it. It's riskier, but that's the route I go. You don't have to take it. That's just my opinion. Again, I don't give it direct advice. I just give you what I do. But that's why I do the things I do. Let's see. This is not true, Mr. Walrus. That's 100% false. You do not have to sign up to be a partner. That's a whole separate thing. So that's why I wanted to say there's multiple services, right? There's the regular legal plan. You can get the family plan, the business plan, or they have ID Shield, which is an ID protection. It's sort of like a LifeLock, same type of thing. They'll monitor your ID online. They pay up to a certain amount if anything ever happens. So there's multiple services they have. No business required. You just literally sign up for the service. You get the service. End of story. If you want to sign up to be an associate, right, you can do that. It's completely separate. That's why I was saying this isn't like a pyramid scheme or all that. It's a separated company, right? You can either be a customer or you can be a customer and an associate. So no, that's absolutely false. You do not have to do anything with the business side. It's just a service. And again, wasn't even going to mention it until this rattle stuff came up, and I thought it was important. That's it. I've already been doing this, guys. Hey, does anyone here? Did anyone know that I did this? Did anyone know that I work with Brian with Legal Shield? Did any one of you know? So let me know in the chat. There's no way, there's no possible way any one of you knew that I, one, was a customer of Legal Shield, or two, worked with Legal Shield with Brian. Because I've never mentioned it. Go look at my description. Is there any links for Legal Shield? Like, guys, I mean, the only reason I brought this up is I thought it was helpful for my community with the whole rattle stuff going on. That's it. If you don't like it and it's not your thing and you don't think you need it, then don't sign up. Why is this such a big deal? It's amazing. It's amazing. Okay. Yeah, James. So James is one of my best friends. He grew up with me. We went to high school together. Did everything together. We hung out like every weekend. Literally. James didn't even know I did this. One of my best friends that I talk to weekly, and he lives in Connecticut now. It's just like, I mean, I keep a lot of my business side. I mean, a lot of you guys don't even know other businesses I'm involved in, like other service-based businesses that I'm partnered in locally, right? I don't talk about it, right? I'm not trying to pitch my stuff to you guys. I keep it. It's just, I literally thought this was a good crossover. I literally thought with everything go. And again, me and Brian had this interview already signed up before we decided to talk about this. So I don't get it. I don't understand the hate I get sometimes, but hey, even when I do the right thing, people still want to fight me. So is what it is. Let's see. Mike, it's all right, man. Hope you have a good time bowling, dude. Get some strikes. Hit that 300, buddy. Who's talking about the Thunderdome? Hey, guys, we have a fun thing tonight. For anyone that purchases and don't get some hits, guess what? Guess what I got now? I got the box of second chances to where if you don't pull something, guess what? We got a whole bunch of pulls that I pull out for you so no one goes home empty-handed. So we're going to make it even more fun. We can always dive into the box of second chances. Bless you for doing that. I'm trying to get away from negativity, which is why I came here. Picked the wrong time. Should have came tonight. I can't tell if you're trolling or not, man. But if you really are trying to change yourself away from negativity, I encourage you, and I wish you well on your journey. Let's see what else we got in here, guys. Before I wrap things up, any other questions, guys? Any questions you got, I'll take. If it's about the stream, not about the stream, whatever. Anything about Pokemon, invest. I'll take anything if you guys want. I know people are asking me to do a lot of lives, right? Q&As like I used to. I know I haven't done as many of them, so I'll answer any questions. An Evolutions box for 500. So I'm just going to say, if it seems too good to be true, it usually is. That seems way too good to be true. I know there are fake Evolutions boxes that have been made. I'd be very careful with that, Brandon. There's a thing, getting deals, 10, maybe 20% under market. There's deals like that. But, man, that's pretty, I don't know about that one. I hear you cover your face. Yeah. So actually, speaking of that, if anyone here streams on Whatnot or any of those platforms and knows how to add a face cam in, let me know. I do not have OBS though. I still don't have a new computer. Can you do it without OBS? If you can, I'd love to have a face cam on Whatnot. I just don't know how to do it, and I don't have OBS. So if anyone's got any info on that, reach out to me. styleseconomics@gmail.com, Instagram, Discord. I'd love to help. Love the help. The Thunderdome is kicking off at 7 p.m. Central tonight, James, on the channel. Gajil. Yeah, guys, Gajil, basically, it was the Gajil stream on Whatnot on Tuesday night. It was crazy. The dude just kept going in. And he got a lot of good hits. I mean, he had some good packs open. So, I mean, I think he still did well, even with all the packs he opened. Hey, Jess, I appreciate that. If you guys don't know, Jess was lucky enough to pull the Paldean Fates Charizard on her second pack last Thursday. Maybe we can do it again this week. I will tell you, this is a brand new case of Paldean Fates I just opened. So another Charizard could be pulled. Another Mew could be pulled. It's all fresh. If I bowl 300, dude, if you bowl 300, you gotta screenshot. You gotta take a picture and send me that. I will be happy to share that on stream. That'd be amazing. And then Thunderdome shirt. Ooh, I might have to add that one in too. Add that into the mix. No question, but more One Piece content. Man, guys, One Piece content, it gets some hate and some love. There's a lot of people that love it. There's a lot of people that like literally tell me they're gonna unsubscribe to my channel if I make any more One Piece content. So I do try to be I try to sprinkle it in every now and then. So I will have some more sprinkled in, but it's not going to be an every time thing. Because I know this is not, a lot of people are, have strong feelings about One Piece. Oh, right. So I try to, but I will have more One Piece content. That's all good, Jess. No big deal. I mean, I appreciate all the breaks you did make. I know everyone's not going to make every one. Come on. You don't have to apologize for that. All right. I guess that's about it. Okay, so Walrus says you have to use OBS, and I do not have OBS because my computer processor no longer supports it. So unfortunately, I will have to get a new PC before I use Facecam on Whatnot. Let's see. Well, guys, that's pretty much everything I've seen coming in. I hope everyone enjoyed the stream. Guys, Brian's always just a wealth of knowledge. I mean, guys, he not only built, his business with Legal Shield, he built, a real estate business. He built that, he's built multiple businesses. He's been in and out of the card hobby. He actually, was in and out of the card hobby as a business. Like, he's just a wealth of knowledge when it comes to, wealth creation and entrepreneurship and, just like the collectible sports car world, Pokemon world. I always love talking with Brian. So I hope you guys got some knowledge out of that. I hope you got help out of it. I'm not leaving any links for Legal Shield, guys. If you guys do want any information on it, like I said, I use it just because I feel like I need something like that for various reasons. I mean, there's a lot of benefits of it. So if you guys even want any information on that, feel free to reach out, nostalgianomics@gmail.com, Instagram, Discord. I'll send you information. You know, you can do with it what you will. But there's no pressure on that stuff, guys. I just thought it was worth talking about because of all the lawsuit drama circling around. But I also just want to have Brian on and talk about just share some of his knowledge and stuff. Because I know a lot of people in this. There's a lot of collectors. There's a lot of investors who are just happy with their jobs, happy with their lives. But there's also a lot of people that want to take this a step further, or that want to become entrepreneurs. Maybe they're working a normal job as like a plumber or electrician, and they want to start their own plumbing or electrician company, right? Or they want to eventually get into doing Pokemon or whatever else full time. A lot of those books and a lot of those things are really helpful to get to that level that you want to be at. So that's all this ever is for. So it's just to help. And I hope it did help people out. So thanks everyone for stopping by. We got the pack break in about 4.5 hours from now. So I'm gonna take a little break and I'll see you guys in about 4.5 hours. Should be a good time. Pull some heat as always, like we always do. And appreciate everyone being here. I'm out.